Right, we live and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jason Flame, Chief Instructor and owner of Moorpark Karate and Krav Maga in Moorpark, California. And today I'm joined by a guest. This is Master Rick Rando from Kickmasters Karate in Western Maryland. And he also has an amazing podcast, guys. You got to go check it out. Rando Speaks. He does a lot of speaking engagements, and you'll love his content. So I'm excited to have him here on the show today. Mr. Rando, how's everything going?
It's great, sir. Thank you so much for having me. You know, here's the thing. You played that promotional video. I know I live in Maryland, but I feel like I want to sign up for your classes. They look amazing. They look so much fun, engaging, and yeah, you're doing some good things out there, Mr. Flame. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I was watching you bob your head a little bit to the music. It's got a little tone there. It's kind of cool. I love the first two shots because it's my wife and my two kids when they were real little, and then one was a little bit more current. So you get to see our family. We're all about family, all about being a family martial arts school, engaging the community and bringing people together, teaching martial arts, teaching leadership, teaching how to support your community. So it's amazing. I'm glad that was the vibe that you got from it. So listen, I know you got a busy day, and thank you for jumping in, filling in for Master K today. We always talk about our word of the month, and this month we've been talking about confidence in our martial arts classes. And the quote says, trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. And that was Dr. Benjamin Spock. I'm going to read it one more time. Trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. What are your thoughts when you hear that quote?
You know, here's the deal. We don't know what we don't know, right? We've all heard that before. But
Yogi Bear.
I think sometimes that we don't give ourselves enough credit and enough grace for who we are, what we've been through, and how much perspective we truly have in a situation. Most people won't try because they think they can't. It's the most self-debilitating thought process in our psyche is the word can't. I don't use can't. I don't use impossible. These words are not in my vocabulary. And even with my kids, we don't say can't. We say we haven't achieved yet, or we're still working on. We haven't mastered yet. We're still powering through. But the word can't just doesn't exist. So I think sometimes we limit ourselves by our ability. It's almost self-sabotaging in some respects. And you know what? We are stronger than we think we are. We are more powerful, more courageous, and more knowledgeable. We just have to trust ourselves. And that's where self-confidence comes in now, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And you know, I can remember coming up in the martial arts, and there was two words that my instructor, like, he would, every time you would say it, one, if you ever said, yeah, if you asked you a question, you said, yeah, that was like a big no. And then because it was always yes, it wasn't even yes, sir. It's just a strong, confident yes. The other one was can't. Anytime if you said the word can't, he would say, you might be having a hard time right now, but you can do it with practice.
Absolutely.
And that has always stuck with me since a 10-year-old little white belt starting classes. I remember that rings in my ears. So as I'm teaching class, I'm hearing that voice all over again. Now, our theme talks about, why is it important to have self-confidence? Now, I'm just going to read you the lesson that we read to our students. It says, being confident in ourselves means trusting ourselves. Have you ever had a gut feeling where you just knew something is wrong or you knew something was right? Or do you have that little voice inside your head telling you when something is bad or something is good? To be confident is to listen to that voice and not ignore it. This can save you from danger and help you make good decisions. So we've been talking about this in class a little bit. Why don't you expand on that?
You know, here's the thing. Where does confidence come from? In our studio, we talk about confidence coming from two places: knowledge and experience. So you are confident that you can do your ABCs because you've done it a million times in your life, right? And you're confident that you can go to the grocery store all by yourself and pick items and put them in your cart and check out because you've done that before, right? So knowledge is the ability to say, I can. And experience means that, okay, I've done it before and it's scary going to the dentist, but I go twice a year and I know what to do. I know where to sit. I know when the person comes out and calls me back, I know that they're going to put me back and put the special sunglasses on me and all that kind of good stuff. So having that self-confidence comes from a point saying, okay, yes, I can, because I know what I'm doing, or at least I read that I can do, or I've educated myself in the ability to finish, but also that I've done it before. So when you test for black belt, I want you to think about this. It's not like any other test you've done. to that point, it's just bigger. And a lot of times in our minds, we put it at this huge pedestal, but it's just like our white belt test. When we're a white belt, it's just like our red belt test. When we're a red belt, the black belt test just means, okay, we've been there, we've done that. It's that culminating sort of that test that says, okay, now we have arrived. But in our studio, when we get somebody that's really nervous about a test, we use it as an opportunity to teach them about their ability. And what I mean is, we call a black belt test an exam or a test, but to the candidate, we don't say it's a test. We call it a demonstration. We say, listen, you've been there, you've done that, you know what to do. You've been vetted 67,000 times to get to this point. You are demonstrating your skill in a formal setting. That's what a test is. Mm-hmm. And sometimes changing the words can kind of help. Sometimes changing that approach, saying, oh my gosh, it's this test. It's going to be this 5-hour mega, and they're going to be sparring, and we're going to break boards and stuff. You know what? It's a 5-hour opportunity to show people how amazing you are. And that's where that confidence comes from, that knowledge and that experience. And there's really nothing that you can't tackle if you don't prepare yourself with those two things.
Now, how awesome is that? Your explanation or your description of a test or a demonstration as an opportunity to show how good you are. See, a lot of people take a test and the first thing they think about is, am I going to pass it or am I going to fail it? That's the first thing. Am I going to pass it or am I going to fail it? And you know what? Sometimes testing ourselves isn't about passing or failing. It's about giving our absolute best effort, putting our best self out there, and really, like you said, demonstrating our abilities. Because if you've trained hard, right, and you've practiced hard, and your instructors have given you the okay, and your parents have supported you along the way, are you going to make mistakes? Absolutely. I've never taken a test and not made a mistake.
Me neither.
It's okay. It's okay that we make, but when we have a Krav Maga test coming up, and this, I'm talking about teens and adults. I had this discussion just last night. Teens and adults are getting ready to test for Krav Maga. And this is a brutal test. This is, anywhere from 5, 6, can be as long as 8 hours sometimes. And there's been a little bit of talk in between classes, and I'm hearing adults, right? Because kids think that adults are just automatically confident. Yeah. I hear these adults saying, I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm scared. Am I going to really do it? And I'm just hearing all this doubt. And I sat them down the other night. I said, guys, listen, you need to take that doubt out of your mind right now, because all you're doing is you're focusing on what can go wrong instead of focusing on what can go right. I mean, listen, we've gone 2 to 3 hours Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. Tonight we do it again. We take Friday off and then we test on Saturday. Now, I considered myself to be a pretty darn good instructor. I've tested almost 400 black belts, right? Thousands of students. I've seen great success. I'm confident that they're going to do well. And they need to be able to trust me and know that in my experience and my knowledge, I know you can do it. So take the doubt out of your mind and get out there and show them what you're made of. That's right. And we happen to test with, in this particular group, we test with several different schools. So it's not just our school, so there's that feeling of unknown, the feeling of, living up to the expectations. But hey, I mean, if you've been practicing, you've been working, your instructor says you're good to go, you got the support of your teammates. Don't worry about the pass or fail. Worry about giving your best effort, putting your best self out there, right? And we're going to learn from it, because at the end of the day, the test is going to come and go.
That's right.
And we're going to be back in class on Monday. You're going to earn your black belt. You're going to earn your black belt. And unless you're one of those students that have just decided that black belt was the end for you and you're going to move on to another area, take the lessons you've learned and do well in life. But most people that earn their black belt coming to class on Monday, it's like, all right, let's go. What's next? Yeah. What's next, right? So let me ask you this question, because we got 4 questions here. What is a time that you've had a gut feeling about something that you acted on?
A gut feeling? Mm-hmm. Asking my wife out for the very first time. That sounds odd. It doesn't have anything to do with martial arts, but it does have to do with confidence. Sure. I had to walk up to this complete stranger, this beautiful human, and introduce myself. And man, I'll be honest with you, without martial arts, I don't think I could have done that. I really don't think I could have said, okay, I'm going to take a chance on this human. So for me, that was like one of the biggest things. Now in martial arts, defending yourself, being in a situation where, I was at a party once in college, and there's some bad stuff going on, man. And some dude who was drunk grabbed me, and I had this action. Like I literally could have sent that man to the hospital, or I could have just got out as fast as I could. And I did that. I got out of his grip, I put him down, and then I bolted. I wasn't going to stand there while 8 of his fraternity brothers beat the crap out of me. And you get this feeling like, oh yeah, I did what I had to do. I got out of that, it was a side headlock, and I got out and I did okay. And I could have stand there and gloated, or I bolted. I was out, and that was the right decision there. I could keep going, but yeah, I don't.
Well, that's a good one.
You have more.
The second question asks, when we ask our students and we're talking about this, did you listen to your instincts? Well, you obviously listened to your instincts. You knew, just based on kind of your training too, of like, I could stay here and fight, or I can just get out of here and be safe, right? And so you listen to that gut feeling. Yeah. Number 3, do you think it takes confidence to listen to what you feel inside, even if someone else might be telling you differently? We talk about peer pressure a lot, right? And this kind of like hinges on that right there.
So I have a book coming out in the fall, and chapter 1 deals with knowing who you are and standing on the firm ground of that fact of who are you? What table do I sit at lunch? When I have my table, like when I have my tray, like what table, where are my people? And when I sit at that table, I'm confident that these are my people I want to surround myself with. But you know what most people do? They walk out and they don't see a table for them. I know I didn't. As a band guy, as a captain of the golf team, as people doing martial arts, which nobody knew anything about. You run around in your pajamas, hi-ya, whatever. I made my own table. I sat at my own table, and I was very selective of who I let sit next to me. So yeah, confidence is that person of knowing who you are and not being afraid to listen to that voice, because at the end of the day, that's all you have, right? Right. And to be honest, if you're a person of faith, God doesn't care what other people think of you. He doesn't.
Powerful.
So let that resonate a little bit. You are who you are, and you know where you're going. And if you've learned that and you've solidified that, you stand strong on that and don't ever waver. Don't ever back up from that.
I love it. And, going back to if students are watching this now or watching it later, we talked about exactly that last week of being, confidence means being proud to be ourselves. 100%. So excellent reinforcement there. Well, listen, I know you've got to get to a private lesson here. So I want to thank you for being on the show today, and thank all of our parents and students for supporting our school and for jumping in on these lessons. If you know anyone that would benefit from martial arts training or just this life skill lesson here today, please share the video and let them come in, take a class with us, and learn about how they can become more confident through learning martial arts. So Master Rando, thank you so much. We will love to have you on the show again sometime.
Anytime. I know my muscles are not as big as Kevin's. I mean, I try to sit up straight. I put this, the jacket on, you know what I mean? I know I try to do my best as a fill-in for Kevin, but there's only one.
Your hair stands up better than his, I think. I think you got the hair. All right, guys. Well, listen, as we close the show here, I always like to close it honoring our sponsor, Raptor Extreme Karate. Those of you that train here at my school, Raptor Extreme Karate is a big part of our elite training program and really focuses on the performance aspect of martial arts, which even further reinforces that confidence that we've been talking about. So I'll leave you to this video, and we'll see you guys all next week. Thank you.